Good afternoon. This is Julie. It is Friday, May 4th, and we're looking at the E-mini S&P 500 and a lot of green on the screen. Um, Let me tell you, it was a firecracker day. We came in this morning to in a non-farm payroll report that and missed pretty big. And so I thought that this market was just going to start tanking. And I pull up my daily charts and I'm looking for, levels that price is going to get down into. We were already below the 200 EMA and we were below zero. The linear regression line is pointing down, and this is the same thing on the NASDAQ. And so I'm I I just got a bias in my head that I wanted to sell this. And so I'm like, I had the linear regression on the chart and it was red. And so when it's red like that, when it comes back to like a support resistance area, you want to sell it. So I was like looking at these closes and saying, when it comes back into the close, that's where the traders are going to sell it. And sure enough, they sold a little bit, but then it very quickly did a V bottom, turned around. Let me put a 15-minute on this. And this is the way we were looking at it with a 15-minute chart. And I wasn't ready to go with my green signal. And I had the same thing, the green signal on the NQ. So this is a matter of trust issue that I have with myself. Um, I've got to start trusting what I'm seeing on the screen instead of what my bias is. The market shifted and turned around and I didn't catch it. I just was caught flat-footed on this. I'm admitting it. Um, and I've got to start, looking at what the monitor is telling me and trade that. Pretty much linear regression is going to show you the way that the market is moving. And when you put this together with the higher time frame trend, you have the picture that you need to be trading in. Then you can put your tick chart in a method that will keep you in the trend. It took us all the way up, kind of did a roundabout right here, but parked you on R2, and that's where it ended. It's ending at the day. It's 2:34 p.m. now. So we had a trend up day, and so I'm not sure if this was a short squeeze or, the Fed is trading or what's all going on, but I'm so glad to see the green on the screen. I do know that it was really the location on the chart where institutional buyers come in and buy, and if that's what happened, that's exactly what we're seeing today. So the E-mini just got up to its downward sloping 50 EMA. That's what this is. And we're coming into down volatility on this trend line. If we do have an inverted head and shoulders now, that's where I'm sort of drawing on my chart, whether this is a W, an inverted head and shoulders, it's definitely bullish. We need to push above the 50 next week. We're going to be heading into this down volatility stacked on top of this down volatility level. So it's going to take a little bit of oomph. So if there's any institutional players watching this, you're going to start running into trouble around 2750. So you need to get that up, and then at 2800, you're going to run into some more trouble right there. So y'all need to get some wind behind your back and start blowing. But definitely what I need to work on myself is to get the bias out of my mind. I even, went so far as to start talking it up in the room this morning that what I don't like about those non-farm payrolls is that they're a survey report. They always revise them. So I don't know who's controlling the narrative when these reports come out. If I'm sure there's some manipulation to that, whether it's on the participants who conduct the survey or, how, I won't even start talking about government manipulation, but as far as, maintaining what they want to see when they want to see it. But there is a website you can pull up on the Department of Labor and get all those revisions on the non-farm payroll report. They're revised constantly. So that I don't like. It's the most important report, leading indicator for the month. The second most important, well, the first most important report, very leading indicator. I was talking about the ISM manufacturing on the first day of the month, but um, that leads off the month for a tone. But the the non-farm payroll is absolutely the most important report, and it's a survey, and it's always revised. I mean, like, hat check on that. So this caught me off guard. So the market is still trading. Bad news is good news. We've got the lowest employment numbers. The unemployment number came down, but the other numbers missed. But overall, I'm so glad to see this green. I don't think the market should be selling off. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't, trying for a rally. Trying for a sell off. What I'm trying to say is I was caught flat footed with my bias trading the red linear regression and did not, I shrugged off my green signal. And then I thought for sure, well, the high was just sitting right above it. So that's where they're going to sell it. And so I tried to sell the high. So I missed on the close, I missed on the high, and I think I even tried to sell the R1, I have to admit. I just had it wrong today, people. I was just like saying that I know better than my indicators, and it doesn't work. You have to trade the indicators and get your mind off of this stuff. The indicators, my charts worked beautifully. They did. I'll show you the NQ. They worked fantastic, and it's too bad that I didn't like participate. I left so much money on the table today. It's pathetic. Um, but yeah, no, I'm so embarrassed, but I've got to, tell you I'm human. So we get these biases in our mind and we disregard what we're seeing right in front of us. So the only thing that came out the way that I called it this morning was the beans. We all knew that was going to happen because of the China indicating that they're going to stop selling our beans or buying our beans. So I think that's a shame. I don't want to see our farmers hurt over this, and I would beg that decision be re-examined and um, like to see some correction on that news story that China is definitely buying our beans. I can tell you that our beans are probably better than Brazilian beans. They won't have enough Brazilian beans to feed them, so they'll have to keep buying our beans. So I'm sure this will be a short story and that they'll end up putting a correction on that one very fast. But my story today is trust what I'm looking at. I had it on the monitor too, and I just was ignoring it. I wanted to fade those levels anyway. And I shouldn't have done it. I should have just gone with the story that was laid out in front of me. Look how high this momentum got. I mean, everything was here for me, and I was just, it was like pitcher calling off the catcher saying, "No, I don't want to throw that. No, I don't want to throw that." The catcher's calling um, curveball, and I was trying to call a strike. So I clearly struck out today. So good for the market, bad for me. Lesson learned. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.